It's time for another collaborative podcast that no one asked for. From the creators of Cases of Continuity, No New Friends, and Big Beautiful Dis, get ready for Creators United. And now, give it up for your hosts, Ryan, Dane, and Scott.
That's right, you are listening to Creators United. It's been a little while. You might not recognize my voice. Might be a distant stranger, but that's okay. I'm Dane from Big Beautiful Dis. Along with me is Scott from the No New Friends podcast.
We don't recognize the voice because you're going through puberty finally. We're very proud of you.
And also Ryan from Cases of Continuity.
Dogs are overrated.
What?
Dogs are overrated.
Dogs are overrated? I don't
Yeah,
Yeah, dogs are overrated.
I don't.
So, we've got Remy in chat right now, and
do we?
yeah, I went to Epcot and Hollywood Studios last week with my my dad and my sister, and I rode Remy's Ratatouille Adventure for the first time. Extremely overrated. Extremely overrated. Extremely cute ride. It's cute, but I don't even remember any of it, and that was before I started drinking heavily. It just.
That's probably why you don't remember it.
Well, that's true. That's true. But it wasn't a great ride, Dane. I was very disappointed for the wait times.
I like it.
It's cute. It's cute. And
do you like Runaway Railway?
Okay. So Runaway Railway has grown on me. I didn't like it at first.
There you go.
At all.
You like Remy's.
You're probably right. It's just getting a lightning lane for Ratatouille is difficult.
That's true.
And
right now it's a 75-minute wait. It's 8:45 at night. It's a 75 minute. Not worth the 75.
No, it's not. It's
30.
not. And Mickey's Runaway Railway is worth 30.
Yeah.
I think it's a cute ride for 30.
Yeah, I would ride it for 30.
I got more enjoyment out of seeing the joy on my daughter's face with that ride. She loves that ride. Like the dance.
If she likes Remy's, you're gonna like Remy's. I think that's
and she hasn't been on Remy's yet, so I'll get her on Remy's and then I'll probably love it. But that dance scene in Runaway Railway, just hearing her laugh with the dun 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 dun, dun that made that ride worth it to me. And it's got that catchy tune that I sing over and over again. It's a weird ride to me, and I miss the Great Movie Ride, one of the greatest rides of all time. But it is cute, and it did grow on me.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
it's an interesting way to start the show.
Sorry. It just hit me because it's not very often that I get to experience a ride for the very first time.
Oh yeah, sure.
Especially that's been around for a while, because I get annual pass holder preview, so I get to ride these rides before they even open. So I haven't ridden this ride. And so it's just unique that I get to talk about something that's been open for so long and so many people have already experienced it.
Oh yeah. I feel like it's going to be, what does Runaway get on an average? Probably 40-minute wait?
Average 35 to 40 minutes.
50-minute wait right now?
Or 50.
Yeah, 40 to 50. I mean, that's more doable, but the 75 and 80s that Runaway
but the difference is that
Railway get,
it's easier to get lightning lane at Railway.
That's true.
Much easier.
That's very true. I feel like virtual queue is just easier to do now ever since, because like Rise was so insane.
Oh my God.
Like Rise was you had to be a pro
in the park
to get the Rise.
At 8 a.m.
Yeah. And then now it's become a lot more usable, user-friendly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I like the system a lot, actually. I think it's really good.
I'm a big fan of the virtual queue, a big fan of Lightning Lane, a big fan of Genie Plus. I love all that
Genie
stuff.
Plus and Lightning.
I know you do. I know you do, but I could go on and on for hours about why I love it. You love it because you're a resort guest. And so you get, when you book your vacation, you can book your old Fast Pass, 3 months out, something like that. So me as a single day pass holder, or even an annual pass holder sometimes, I can't book things until like 30 days out, or as a single day, the day of. So all I'm getting is the, Olaf meet and greet. That's all I'm getting. I can't even get, the teacups. It's so for me, it evens out the playing field. And I like that.
Yeah, no, you're certain you're onto something. I mean, the reason that I don't like it is because I never really liked Fast Pass in the first place. I felt it was not a fast pass when Fast Pass Plus came out. Feel like the paper Fast Passes were a lot quicker with the lines, and I feel like that system worked a lot better. Ryan, when was the last time you went to Disney? I don't think I've ever asked you that.
2022.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
that's pretty recent.
Yeah,
I
that's
thought
real
you were
re
gonna
I
say
thought it
like,
was
oh,
more
when I was
like, yeah.
5,
Yeah,
which
I
was
thought it was gonna be
2022.
like Chris's answer, like 2018 or something.
Yeah.
No, that's
Yeah.
yeah,
I've
that's
been there a little
recent.
more
More
recently.
recent than I thought. Oh, so have you done that was when Genie Plus when did Genie Plus happen? 21? Was that it?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
21.
What is your thoughts on Genie Plus, Ryan?
I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent. I enjoy the Disney parks, but I'm one of those people that wants to go everywhere in the world. I want to go to every state before I'm 30, and so I enjoy the Disney parks, but that's not somewhere I'm going to go to all the time. I don't know that I'll go there within the next decade, truthfully, just because there's so
Mm,
many other places I want to go to. And so
sure.
for me, Genie Plus is great. I visited the Disney parks. If it's still there when I go again in about a decade or so, great. If it's not there, great. I'm sure they'll have something else. And I'll be able to enjoy my experience there. So that's kind
It,
of my outlook. I'm indifferent.
it's crazy to me because we all come from different areas, different
Yeah.
different levels of enthusiasm towards the Orlando parks and all that.
Hmm.
Honestly, guys, I take it for granted because I can go. I mean, literally for a couple months, Sarah Lewis and I were going every other week.
It's
And
true.
so it's like I don't know. To me, I'm like, oh man, why wouldn't you want to come to Disney more? But it's like that's a whole vacation for you. So it's like, okay, do I go visit, the sights of Boston, or the Grand Canyon, or whatever it is, or do I go to Disney World? Where that's not a decision for me. This is hey, what am I going to do on my day off this week?
Yeah.
And it's so weird to me. I've never really brought like I've never really taken that in,
Yeah.
because because it's 20 minutes away from my house.
It's the exact same thing with me for Hershey Park and like the Cartoon Network hotel and like the tourists that I get in my area for like the Amish people and stuff.
Hmm.
I do not understand for the life of me why people want to come out here because there's like to me it's just my town. Like
Right.
what are you gonna do here? But to them they have the shopping outlets and they have Hershey and like it's an hour or something away and it's kind of they have Strasbourg stuff like that. So it's like to I have a completely different view to all of the tourists, and I can't understand
Yeah.
why anybody would want to come out here.
All right. So real quick, and I know this wasn't on a topic. Ryan, what's your number one travel destination that you haven't been to yet?
It's a good question.
Everywhere I haven't been.
What,
I don't know.
but
Very
what's
vague
the
answer, but
what's
I'd
the
love to get to every single country before I die, even the unsafe ones. And maybe that sounds crazy, but I want to see everything and do everything I can before I die.
work your way up, start safe and then go to the unsafe. That way, if your death is
There we go.
untimely,
Yeah.
then you've seen as much as you can.
That's
Okay.
the move.
Here,
That's the
book
move right there.
text Nick right now. Say you want to book a trip to Russia. Um,
I'm thinking more North
there's
Korea, my dude.
there's worse than Russia, Dane. Okay, Ryan, gun to head, you have 2 weeks to live. Where are you going?
Oh, I'd take a trip around all of Europe, probably.
Okay.
it's a good answer.
So there's not that one place where it's like, this is the place. If I could only take one trip, go see one thing, and that's it. There's not that one place. It's just kind of all
Really,
spread
because
out.
like if you were like, if you gave me the options to go on a safari in South Africa and see all the Nelson Mandela sites there, look at the Great Wall of China and the Terracotta Warriors in China, or Stonehenge in London and England, or Iguazu Falls in the Amazon in Rio and Brazil. Like, I don't know. I would just probably spin a decision wheel, honestly.
Oh, okay.
You aren't
Gotcha.
going to
any of them.
Bahia?
Dane, what about you?
Oh, where am I
That
going?
joke took a moment to register, Dane. But that was
Yeah,
funny.
I know it
Nice
did.
deep cut.
It's a reference to me and Ryan's newest video.
Ah,
Oh, where am I going? I don't know, man. Probably, honestly, I'm probably going to Los Angeles. I'm going to Los Angeles I'm going to California in September.
oh, cool.
I'm really looking forward to it. So I'm probably going there. I'm probably bringing my vacation closer and just doing that because I really, really want to go out. It's been a dream of mine to go to Disneyland. Like it's finally happening. So I'm really
That's so
excited for
exciting.
that.
Yeah, Dane, for me, it's the same. It's I want to go to the sister parks. I want to go to Disneyland, California Adventure, and Universal Hollywood. And we're not sure when we're going to do it, but we have access to passes for Disney and Universal.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna do a combo trip with my son and his girlfriend so that we can kind of work that out.
Yeah.
Um, but that's the dream vacation. I also would love to do a American history type
Mm.
trip where, I was in Boston for like 2 hours and there was so much that I wanted to see. It was a
That
little
is
bit
a
more than
top
2 hours,
three
but it was
city
just
for me
overnight.
in the country.
What's that?
Boston is a top 3 city in the
Yeah.
country for me.
I want to see all the historic sites in Boston. I want to see
Incredible.
the historic sites in Philadelphia.
Oh, that's a
Um,
great city too.
yeah,
It
I've
is.
I've been to DC. I've
Oh,
been to New
DC's
York.
fun. Oh, New York's
Um,
cool.
yeah, but I
Have you
just
been
want to.
to Chicago?
I have not. I've
That
not
is
been
a
to
top 3
Chicago.
city for me as well. Highly
Yeah,
recommend Chicago.
Yeah,
yeah.
Have you been
Gettysburg.
to San
Gettysburg is
Antonio?
fun too.
No, I've never been to. I
San
haven't.
Antonio's worth your time.
San
Yeah,
Antonio's pretty
yeah.
cool.
So there's like a lot of American history places that I want to go because I love American history. Don't ask me any trivia on American history, but I just love the thought of American history,
Yeah.
especially like Frontierland in Magic Kingdom is probably one of my favorite areas. Even though I hate Magic Kingdom, Frontierland and America at Epcot are my two favorite areas in any of the parks, and that
That's a true
includes
patriot.
that that includes Hogwarts, or, Harry Potter at Universal and Galaxy's Edge at Disney or at Hollywood Studios because
You enjoy American history so much, you should come visit my state. 6 presidential houses are located in my state. A lot of great history here.
yeah.
A lot of really neat stuff going on.
Wait, in
Very
Ohio?
underrated. Yeah,
Okay,
because
I'll have to check
Ohio is
that
one
out.
of the earliest states that existed.
I know. I just don't think of Ohio. When I think of like the American Revolution and like those times, and even like into the Civil War era, I don't think of Ohio. As one
The
of
thing about
the. I
Ohio,
think
though, is
more the 13
because all those
colonies.
fights weren't going on in there, it allowed people and communities to prosper more. And
Mhm.
therefore, that's where a lot of significant individuals grew up and were
Hmm.
raised.
Mm.
It
That's
has
really
enough
interesting.
suburban areas and urban areas to have a lot of people, but still has kind of a Midwestern homey feel to it.
That's interesting. Yeah, I love the frontier colonial. So that's like the back end of Magic Kingdom is from Liberty Square through Frontierland. I just love that area because
That
it
is a
just
nice area.
it's like going through a time portal.
Mm.
And to me it's always Disney because I didn't see it like that as a kid. I saw it as it's Disney. So like when I walk around, I still think Disney. I think Epcot does a better job of really like immersing you into those areas and those countries. But anyway, way off topic. I apologize.
Anyway,
So, anyway, I rode Remy's
speaking of,
Ratatouille Adventure.
you did. You did. What did you think of it? No. Well, speaking of history, it's crazy to think 2023 is now history.
Thank
So,
God. New year, new me.
yeah. So what's some of our New Year's resolutions, guys? What do we want to accomplish in 2024? I think let's start with Scott.
It's going to be very generic, but I want to keep pushing out great content. I did message Nick, Chris, and Sarah kind of my 10 goals, if you will. I just love or sorry, I want to put out great content and I want to entertain people. And I had my top 10 goals, and I'm not going to go through the whole list, but one of them was I want to monetize YouTube and I want to monetize TikTok. It's something that we haven't really focused on at all. We had it and I focused on it 2 years ago, and I realized that focusing on that took away from the podcast. And now we're in this weird lull. Ever since we started After Dark, we hit this weird lull that we haven't recovered from on the podcast, and it's starting to slowly come back, but not nearly the numbers that we were doing January of last year. January, February of last year were freaking massive. They were massive. And once we hit summer and did like two things happened. We started a second episode of the week and we had summer both at the same time. And it just it crashed. And then with you know, our show's gone through some changes, and I think that one of the reasons why the numbers are starting to bounce back, the slow rise, is like we had to tear it down and then rebuild it. And I like what we're doing, and I like where we're going. And for the first time, I'm not as focused on the podcast numbers as I used to be. I'm more focused on let's put out some great content. You know, we're doing some really cool things with YouTube. It's stupid and it doesn't represent the podcast, but you know, we've monetized YouTube. Goal number 1, check.
Yeah.
We have that one video on TikTok that 7.1 million views. I haven't monetized TikTok yet, but like that's huge. That's massive. And so I just want to continue doing stuff like that. I don't want to walk away from any of our episodes anymore going, well, that was not a great episode. Maybe I'll fall in love with it when I'm editing. And when the four of us are together, I haven't had one of those episodes, you know, in a while. And I'm feeling very good about the content. And again, and really honestly, I just want to build this community that we've kind of got going. You know, through Patreon or just through whatever. Like I don't even care. I love building this community because I think it's a really cool community that we have.
It is.
And you know, we all started as fans of each other's work, and now we're all friends. And you know, Ryan was willing to step in and host an episode for me, and then was like super patient with me when I was like, hey, but I may be there. And then did all this. I mean, putting together that compilation episode where he did not just going through the best of our stuff, but any other show that we were on.
That was really
And
good.
I know that took so much work, and it's one of my favorite episodes because it was just this really cool thing that you did. And what was really cool about it is I called you, I said, hey, can you do this? You know, sure, no problem. And I feel like all of us are willing to just do whatever we can to help each other be successful, either in life or in whatever we're creating. And just like, you know, there's so many times when someone's going through a rough time. And, you know, we're vocal about it because, especially the nature of our show, we share that kind of stuff. And especially when we were doing After Dark. And what I love to see and what I love to hear is everybody reaches out to that person, whether Chris is going through a rough time. And he's like, you know, dude, what made me feel so good is everybody reached out to me, or I've been through a rough time, and everybody, hey, just checking on you. It's so super cool. And it's just this really cool community that we've built. So long story short, I want to continue building that community. Sorry, I'm very long-winded tonight. It feels
No,
like I
you're
haven't
good.
talked in
You're good.
forever.
Ryan, let's hear your New Year's resolutions. What do you
Well, I
want to
wanted to
accomplish?
read one chapter of a book each day, but
Mm.
that failed because I got busy. I'd like to travel more, but I already kind of talked about that. That's pretty much it. So I failed one, gonna try to succeed in the other, and that's life. How about you, Dane?
Pretty much. I think mine I don't want to look at it, but last year what I did is I put 3 like goals that I had in mind on Twitter, and then I scheduled it to post a year later. So I did the same thing. I don't want to look at it though. Um and I actually hit 2 out of the 3 goals I think I
Hey,
set for
that's
myself
amazing.
last year,
That's
or
amazing.
maybe all of them, kind of. Oh yeah, it was kind of all of them. 500 subscribers, which I accomplished. At least 4 sponsors, which I accomplished, and then even more famous guests for Dane interviews, kind of. Um, but this year, I want to have at least 700 subscribers. I feel like that's a good goal. Maybe 800, 7 or 800 subscribers by the end of the year. I always like doing the subscriber goal. Um, and
I love,
then
sorry, I'm gonna interrupt. I love the
sure.
little 60-second shorts that you do, like a certain history in 60
Oh yeah,
seconds. I think it's brilliant. And I think once you kind of find your groove on that, I think that's where you're gonna see some upticks on your subscribers.
I have already. I
Good.
like doing those too. Those are
They're
fun because
super
they're
fun.
they're videos that I won't make. Like
Right.
they're because they're covered everywhere. But that's the whole point
Sure.
of putting them on shorts. It's because they're
Hmm.
trendy
I
topics.
love the first one you did was oh God, it wasn't Star Tours.
It was oh my god, which one was it? Yeah,
I don't
Star
remember,
Tours was second, and then it
but
was Imagination, and then I just put one up for Enchanted Tiki Room.
I love it, and I think it's brilliant. And keep doing that. Keep putting out one of
Oh,
those per
Rock
day.
and Roller Coaster.
Rock and Roller Coaster. If you have the time, put out one per day, and you're going to see the subscriber count go up. And you're going to have that one that hits,
Yeah.
and you'll be addicted to shorts. And I think like that's kind of your money right now, because that's going to draw some exposure
Mhm.
to the main stuff that you do. And I'm just excited for you.
So the
Sorry.
subscriber goal, and then I don't know. I would like to start making real numbers on YouTube Shorts. That's also another goal. Because YouTube Shorts are so lucrative. They really are.
Dude, it's
Um,
insane. I mean, like, we're not rich, but
yeah. Yeah, we're
it's
not
really
making
cool.
actual money off of it, but just the views.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Mhm. Especially the ones that you put out, because they're current topics about politics, so they're gonna pop off.
Oh, I enjoyed my break. We're entering into a rather exciting year as well, a year of 4, if you will, because every 4 years we get 1, a leap year, 2, a Summer Olympics, and 3, a presidential election.
Yes,
So
sir.
Ooh,
perhaps even us as a podcast community should hold our own little Summer Olympics competition this year, something of that
I
nature.
like
That's a
that.
good
I
idea.
like
Yeah,
that.
that's a
You
good
guys wonder
idea.
why I've been quiet, slowly marinating different ideas. My Friday evening mind, that's how it works, I suppose.
So this year we have Summer Olympics or winter?
Summer. If it was winter, they'd be happening like
Oh yeah, they'd be starting
tomorrow.
like any day. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, in like early February.
I like
So
that.
Ryan, are you really into the Olympics?
I actually think the Olympics are not a great idea because you're pitting countries against each other, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's goodwill, peace, and countries working together." But at the end of the day, they're competing against each other, right? And like, do we really need countries to be competing against each other already? And like, you
You're
also
gonna have
have
a great time
wonky
in 2 years, Ryan. World Cup is in 2 years in the
Oh,
Olympics.
Oh, yeah, as you can see, Scott and I are big soccer fans.
You are. You are.
Ryan, spoken like the true Gen Z that you are. I know. Listen, I get it. Especially there's already so much turmoil in the world, and I do get that, but I don't know. I was brought up on the Olympics. My mom is an Olympic nutcase. She has 3 televisions going at any given time in one room, watching all the simulcast. She doesn't sleep for 3 weeks. I don't know. The only time she sleeps is if it's like if the events are in the Western Hemisphere and like the time zone is a little bit more similar, because if they're across the world, she's watching it overnight live, but then she watches the recaps during the day. It's insane. But I was brought up on the Olympics. I was brought up on figure skating and gymnastics, because those are like my mom's 2 favorite sports. And so, I would 80s figure skating with, you know, Brian Boitano and people like that. And then, you know, you get into the 90s, Christy Yamaguchi and Tanya Harding, Nancy Kerrigan. Like these are people that I watched. And then the women's gymnastics team. You know, I mean, I remember staying up late watching the women's gymnastics. And I know I'm saying this and I'm like,
How
oh
old
God,
were
shut
you
up, just
when
shut up. I was young. I was young. I haven't watched the Olympics in quite some time because I'm just too busy. But when I was younger, like I would like I was their age when I was watching. I was, you know, the age, like in fact, it was like with Shannon Miller and the Carrie Strug, when Carrie Strug, you know, nailed the landing and like shattered her leg all in
You're
one fell
talking like
swoop.
Dane and I know who these people are.
I know, because they're old now.
I only know one of those names, and that's Tanya Harding, because she's a good, upstanding citizen. Like,
Yeah,
she's
yeah, real
never done
good.
anything bad in her life.
Never.
Margot Robbie played her.
Yeah, it's a great job.
Yeah.
Great movie. I, Tanya,
Yes,
great
yeah.
movie. But
Yeah.
like they were older. Like when I was watching, like Shannon Miller was older than me. She was 19. And I had to have been like 13 when I was watching. Anyway, so I love the
Well,
Well,
Olympics.
no,
my question.
that's okay, because she's a little bit too old for you. So she's not to your liking. So that's okay.
But anyway, I love the Olympics. I love the pageantry of it. And the thing is, Ryan, is I think where you look at it is from fans. Fans are like, okay, you know, kick those commies' ass, you know, whatever. But the athletes and what you see happening in the sportsmanship, it yes, you're competing against each other, but like there's been so many great moments where someone falls in a track and field event and someone, you know, another athlete will pick them up and run with them or you know, there's just so many great moments in the Olympics. I love the Olympics. I just watched Miracle the other day, the story of the true story on the 1980 US men's
Wait,
hockey
so
team.
that actually held up in court? I didn't realize it was based on a real story because, like, I didn't when the children sent the
I don't
letters to
think
Santa Claus, like,
I don't think he's I don't think we're talking about the same thing.
Not Miracle on 34th Street.
oh, Miracle on 42nd Street. You're talking about, you
Did
know,
I say
we're in the
34th?
money
No,
and
Miracle.
Dane.
Wait,
Miracle
did
on
he
Ice.
actually say that? I didn't even hear that he said Miracle on 30.
Did I say Miracle on 34th? Or I just say Miracle?
No,
Hold
I'm
on.
just messing with you.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Okay. I thought he
Miracle,
actually
that-
did for a second. I was like, hold on.
the,
I wasn't paying attention either.
the movie based on the US men's hockey team. Ooh. Anyway, I love the Olympics.
Do we want my question of the week?
Please.
Sure.
Because I've
you
derailed
here,
this
Scott.
show. What?
I'm gonna save you here with that.
Thank
Cut
you.
off whatever you're talking about. So we're in January, right? Ending
We
up
are.
this part of the year, and I think January is a bit of a weird month, right? Because we've been doing a lot of celebrating, right? Like October, spooky season, rolls right into November. We start getting colder weather, getting to Thanksgiving, and then December, all about Christmas and New Year's. And then the new year hits, and January is kind of a different type of month, in my opinion. How do you guys feel about this month? Because I just feel like it has a very different feel to it, especially after 3 months of festivities.
Well, we're not
really.
celebrating anything after New Year's.
January
Like,
is the
New
weird.
Year's, you only celebrate New Year's really in
Right.
the first month or first week even, and then
Yeah.
it's over.
I mean, there are
Martin Luther
some.
King Jr. Day is just an observation. Like you don't like people
Yeah,
don't
you're
go
not
out,
gonna
like,
celebrate.
love MLK with the exception of him cheating on his wife, but like, you know, people don't go out and celebrate him with like big parties and things.
No,
Like
yeah.
it's an observation. It's not like it's like Labor Day or Veterans Day. You know, you don't do anything particular for it.
No, Ryan, you're right. January is the weirdest month of the year because it. And now there are some like religious significance.
I'll argue June till the day I die.
No, because June is the start of summer. The start of like school summer, like, you know, school's getting out, so there's excitement there. But
I guess
January
June
is
is
just
a little bit more special when you're a kid or like or you're in schools. Once you're in a regular job, I think June and then like July after Independence Day is tricky in my opinion.
yeah, but at least you have Independence Day in July. January, you get the holiday hangover,
Mm-hmm.
you know, where there's so much excitement. I mean, Christmas is just that special time of year, whether, you know, whether you're into the religious aspects of it or not. You've got the lights, you've got the music, and Christmas is just this, it's its own time of year, obviously. And then you have January, and it's cold. And for me here in Florida, like, it's cold in January, and it's like, I like when it's cold in December because it's like, oh, it's beginning to feel a lot like Christmas. Where in January, it's like, it's beginning to feel a lot like Black History Month. I don't know, you know, it's just cold outside, and there's not much to, you know, it's like, okay, you want to build a snowman in January, you know, there's no Frosty the Snowman in January, you know, it's a Christmas song. So January, like, I'm pissed off that it's cold. February, you got so much in February. Black History
February's
Month,
fun. You got
President's
3
Day,
major holidays in February.
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day,
Yep.
Groundhog Day,
Yep.
both very fun holidays.
Fuck around.
Yep.
It's
Then
a fun holiday.
March, you start, you know, St. Patrick's Day, you start getting into spring-ish.
Depending on the year, you might have Easter. If not, then in April.
Sometimes it's Easter, sometimes it's not. For
Well, it's
us
actually
down
February.
here,
We forgot Mardi Gras.
Mardi Gras, I
Oh,
was
yeah.
just gonna
February,
say,
28 and a quarter, 28 or 29 days. You get something pretty much every week in February.
yeah.
Yeah.
And for us here in Orlando, we've got Universal's Mardi Gras.
You got Universal. Yeah.
So, and that's a super fun time. So then April, you know, the weather starts getting warmer. You're into spring. Maybe you get Easter in there. But it's not as cold, but it's not hot yet.
Yeah.
Um,
I think the worst month is probably August. August fucking sucks.
I don't
August is
hate
not a
August
good
simply
month.
because August is when school's starting to go back, and I feel like August in that sense is always more of a new beginning than January is.
I can agree with you a little bit.
Yeah, it depends.
The problem for August, because August, even though it's summer, I kind of like start considering that, oh, we're getting into fall. Once we've hit August, I'm like,
September is a
summer
little
is.
bit like that too. I don't think, besides what, Labor Day's in
See,
September.
I enjoy Earth, Wind, and Fire Day, so I play a lot of Earth,
That's
Wind,
true.
and Fire in
That's
September
true.
because, like, September, you know. it's just
August to
fun.
me is a little bit like that. I think August is kind of second January to me. It's not as bad as original January, but it's close because you don't have a whole lot in August. It's hot as hell. It's hot as hell. But the parks do start slowing down once like local kids go back to school and all that. So you can get into the parks a little bit better. September is just as hot. But what I love about September is you start getting into your Halloween events. You know, you've got Mickey's Not So Scary starts in August now, but Halloween Horror Nights is in September. Like, you start getting that feeling of fall. And then once you're into October, you're in the holiday season. You got Halloween, you got Thanksgiving in November.
World Series.
You've got the World Series. You know what used to make
going back to February. Super Bowl's in February,
Super Bowl.
and March
yeah,
has
Super
March
Bowl.
Madness.
Here,
There's all these
yes.
awesome things in February and March.
Here's the thing, though, Ryan. Probably before you were born, Super Bowl Sunday used to be in January. So January lost the one redeeming quality that it had.
Oh, before they extended the
Even
NFL
before
schedules.
that, it used to be in. I don't know when it stopped being in January, but
Let's see.
Oh, 2002.
Hmm.
I was born, but that's not in my memory.
yeah, the game was moved to the first Sunday of February starting in 2023 or 2003.
Okay.
And like even with January, like the new seasons of TV start up in like February,
that's true.
like late February, early March.
Yeah, February.
So
yeah.
you don't even like Survivor's not even on in January.
Yep.
All right, guys, I want to try something here. I want to try something. You know what I want to try? Ask me what I want to try, Ryan.
What do you want to try?
Okay, thank you. I want to try Kahoot. I want to see if this works. I want to play Kahoot with you guys and the audience. All right, so this is a Disney World Kahoot. since my channel, a little bit of spotlight on me here. My channel is, of course, a theme park YouTube channel, so we can do a little bit of a Disney World Kahoot. We'll go and start here. Quiz.
Oh, you answer
where
questions.
where is Walt Disney World? Is it Jacksonville, Miami, Orlando, or Tampa? Which one is it?
Like, it's none of those.
Next
I
question.
tried to be Scott, but someone took it.
How many parks are at Disney World?
Well, this
8,
is
5, 4, or 6?
do the water parks count?
I don't know. How many parks are at Walt Disney World? Okay, how many resorts are at
Oh my
Disney World?
God.
39, 1,111, 34, or 28? Why did Walt Disney not see Disney World on opening day? Traffic, plane delay,
Did you make
died,
these
or
answers?
got lost in the woods?
Did you make these answers?
I did not.
Are you Walt Disney?
I found this somewhere on the internet.
Wait, he's dead?
Spoiler alert.
Oh man, I was just waiting to get into that episode. What resort is
What resort is this?
You can't
Is this Hawaii, Polynesian, Flower and Garden, or Grand Floridian?
I gotta be honest, this is one of the most painful Kahoots I've ever.
Dude, this is rough.
This is very rough.
That's correct. It is the Polynesian. How many employees
Are you kidding me?
does Disney have on staff just at Disney World? 100,000, 340,000, 12, or 62,000? Let me ask the question again. How many employees
Employees.
How
many employees
does Disney have on staff just at Disney World?
What's the username of the person that made this?
I have no clue. Red is the correct answer. Only 1,000.
Only if come on.
Some little kid draws 3 circles in chalk. And that is well done.
Good job, everybody. We'll do 2 more. How long did it take to
I don't know.
evacuate
I don't
Disney
no,
World?
I'm done.
Bubba Job 22 wins the round. Very nice. Good job, Scott.
Thank you.
Let's give him a round of applause, everybody. Scott, I have a question for you though. I want to talk a little bit about.
I've got
this.
5 minutes.
Yeah, you do. I have a. It's not really a question even. I just want to have a conversation because we never get to talk. I find our fascinating. I find our conversations very fascinating. So let's say you're making a podcast, right?
I do that from time to time, yeah.
Yeah. And somebody asked you, how do I make a good segment? What would you be on your list of do's, and what would you be on your list of don'ts?
Great question. I'm sure I was not prepared for this. So are you more referring to like the little bits that we do or like a topic?
Kind of both.
Okay.
And just any sort of segment really at all.
So when I'm coming up with my topics, it's kind of the anatomy of an episode really is I want it to be anchored to one topic. So I want to come out of the gate with a strong first topic, and then we can kind of build on that the rest of the episode. That's kind of the formula now. Whereas it used to be, okay, we got to have three different topics. It's anticipating. It's almost like chess, Dane. It's like, I know what the topic is going to be and anticipating what the others are going to say and where they're going to take it. And if I think that they can make it funny, we roll with it. If I don't think that it can be too funny, because like people will tell me all the time, oh, you got to talk about this on your podcast. You got to talk about it on your podcast. I'm like, no, it's not. It's not funny. It's not even an interesting topic. Like it has to be something that's interesting and relatable, I think is kind of the answer. I find things that are interesting and relatable.
Very nice. Very nice.
Do's and don'ts. Well, I struggled with this. Everybody jokes about the neighborhood that I live in and how just lack of diversity it is. And, so there's a lot of jokes that are made on my behalf, kind of making me come off as seeming like a racist or whatever. And it's funny when everybody else is making the joke, right? And then I'm like, ah, no, whatever. Well, as it was going on, I realized how many laughs that was getting. So then I started contributing with the joke into the jokes. And so if I'm calling myself a racist, then it's like, wait a second, now it's not a joke. Now it's you start thinking, wait a second, is he? And we had to honestly, Chris and I had a lot of conversations about this, and we're like, hey, we got to replay this a little bit, because I think it's okay when they make fun of me for the little, the thing at the park with the fedora and the dog and all. It's okay when they make the joke towards me.
Mhm.
That's okay, because I can be like, okay, no, whatever. And then we move on. But the second that I start contributing with that joke or making the joke first, then there's a problem. Then it's like, okay, so we're tiptoeing the line, but now we're on the other side of it, and we've got to get back to the correct side of that line, So that's something that we've really had to kind of evaluate when we're either writing the jokes, writing the segments, not writing segments, because we don't really write the topics, but when we're kind of discussing what we're going to talk about and the strategy of where I want jokes to go, that's something that we've kind of had to reevaluate a little bit, if that makes sense. I don't know if that answered your question.
No, it does. It does. So that's on your list of don'ts, I guess, is
Yeah.
kind of yeah.
Do's, here's your do's.
Yeah.
In your head, if you think this topic is going to go a certain way and it doesn't, that's okay. That was the one thing that I really, especially when Chris first came on and when we started opening up a little bit, I was trying too hard to get the segment back to where, or the topic back to where I thought it should be, and instead of letting it evolve and play out as it was going to. A great example of that is in the episode Dangling the Sex Carrot.
Mm.
At no point was it supposed to be about my dogs. It was supposed to be about how my wife dangles the sex carrot all day. Like, oh yeah, after I have some coffee. Okay, after I take a shower. Okay, after I do this, after I do this. And then at the end of the day, I end up masturbating in my own tears. That was supposed to be the joke. That was the whole punchline. That was the joke. That was the topic. And then the whole thing with the dogs came up, and it took on, you saw what that episode did. It took on a life of its own. Same thing with the Do They Know It's Christmas episode, and I think as a host with multiple co-hosts, that's been the hardest thing to learn and to get good at is, it's okay if they take the topic somewhere that you didn't think it was going to go, and you don't have to get it back unless you're way off. If you're way off, then you got to reel it back in, especially if you know that there's a big joke at the end, because a lot of times the whole segment is designed to set up one big joke at the end. Anyway, so go with the do's, or go with the flow, and trust your co-host.
Ryan, how about for your segment on NNF? Like, what's some of the stuff that you make sure to, when you're creating? Do you create a script for your segment, or do you just record it out of
Usually
memory,
I
I
just
guess?
write notes as I kind of come up with them. Truthfully, it's been a little bit since I've come up with one, and I was kind of changing how I did them as I was going into the new year, and then just life kind of got in the way. So kind of in a transition period with that segment, and once I kind of get past this busy period in my own life right now and they return, I guess I'll kind of see how that ends up developing, but that's kind of in a differing phase right now.
All right. Well, with that
Well,
being said,
Who's our
Jared,
next guest going to be on Creators United, Dane?
who's our next? I don't know.
I thought we were gonna do like a promo for the next Creators United and then go into what we each have.
No, I don't know. I'm not saying because I don't. I'm not. I'm
Just say
not.
you've
We
got
don't
a
know.
big name
I'm not
coming up
saying
and you don't want to spoil it.
before I book the talent.
Just say you've got a big name coming up and you don't want to spoil it.
Okay,
Stay tuned.
I have a huge name, huge talent. And he or she is going to be coming on, and it's going to be a massive interview, earth-shattering news. Some might say it even might start some world wars. You know, you
God.
never know. You never know.
People are saying.
People are saying it. Hey, people. It wouldn't be too far off to say that this interview might take place in the Oval Office. So,
Hey,
just
all
Scott,
right.
what's coming up on No New Friends?
No new friends. You know, it's always
the invite
fun.
has been put out.
We've got a funny episode coming out this Sunday where Sarah had something awkward happen at her hairstylist, and Chris found himself in a very shitty situation 5 minutes before we were supposed to start recording. So that's really fun. Check out our YouTube. You know, all of our links are right there on our website, nonewfriendspodcast.com. But our YouTube is going great. We love what we're doing there. Dane, are you just watching your channel on repeat behind you?
Oh no, it's just a walkthrough of Magic Kingdom.
Oh, okay. I was like, gotta get your view hours sometime.
Yeah, no, it's just walkthrough of Magic Kingdom.
But also check us out on TikTok where you can see a lot of the same videos that we have on YouTube.
Yep. Ryan, what's coming up on season 2 of Case of Continuity?
On February 7th, season 2 begins. I'm diving into the 9 original Sherlock Holmes novels and short story collections published by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. So I'm excited to dig into a book series for season 2.
Very nice. Very nice.
And Dane, what's coming up on Big Beautiful Diz?
Scott is not impressed with the Sherlock Holmes season, I guess.
Man, I realize all the No New Friends people walked away when I start talking. Dane, what's coming up on Big Beautiful Diz?
That's funny. You know what? I'm not a big reader. The last thing I read was the 5th Harry Potter book.
Okay. You didn't even finish the series?
No, because the 5th book pissed me off so much that I threw the book and I never stopped. I never got back into it.
Was it because of how long it was or what happened in the book?
Just with there was so much angst. Harry Potter was not happy. No, once spoiler alert, once Umbridge took Quidditch away, I threw the book and I was done. I couldn't do it anymore.
I can just imagine Scott just reading the book and then like Rachel is across the room and Scott's like throws.
He was probably in the public library.
The image of that in my head's so funny to me.
He was probably in the public library. He probably hit somebody.
I got so mad I couldn't. So after that,
he started crying.
I did take that. I take that back. I did read 2 more books. I read the Hunger Games, the first 2 Hunger Games books, which I absolutely loved.
Are you a big fan of those?
Oh, I love the Hunger Games. Yeah,
I couldn't get through the first one.
Oh, the first one was so good. The second one was even better. They're much better than the movies.
See, I had to read the first book in 6th grade for a book report project from like a book club thing that we were assigned to. I read the first half and I just kind of got bored and I just kind of skimmed through the second half. It's one of the few books that like I didn't actually read everything in.
You know what? It reminds me of the 4th Harry Potter book where there's so many peaks and valleys. Like when he's in one of the Triwizard events, it was so easy to get through it because it was like action packed and it was so intense. But then in between the events, it was so slow and it took me forever to get to the next one. Hunger Games was a lot like that too, for me, where when something was happening, it was super exciting. But then when it wasn't, and it was a lot of just, I saw a bird and I couldn't understand why he was singing today. It's like,
Hey, Dane, what's coming up on Big Beautiful Diz?
Thank you, Ryan. Well, this was the episode is out by now because this is coming out on Monday. So it was revealed on the No New Friends podcast that I'm creating a documentary. It's called Beyond the Glass. the WDW animation building. So that's coming up in a couple months here. You know, I'm very excited for that. And then the next video will be next week, and it's going to be a drum cover. So excited
Nice.
for that. Yep. And you know, everything is linked in the description below. All of our shows and all of our, you know, links, various links to websites and stuff like that.
So on behalf of Scott and Dane, I'm Ryan. Thanks for listening. Cheers, Scott.
Cheers.